welcome Valkyries of Midgard. My name is Torres. I'm a writer of fantasy and science fiction stories, and hopefully someday soon, future author. And I'm here to talk about my beta reader process. Really quick, this video is going up if I was unable to record any writing vlogs for Camp Manorama this month. Now, the process is fairly simple, I think. The issue here is waiting for readers to come and read your story. I'm just going to show you what I did to ask betas for help in reading my story and what I had ready for them. Hopefully my process helps you guys out in wondering what it is you need to be ready for beta. Are we all ready? Okay, here we go. First up, obviously, is to have as much of your manuscript ready to send out to betas. I'll show you what I send betas here in just a sec. I want to show you something else first, and that is a help wanted looking for beta sign. Okay, hello again. Hope everyone can hear me all right. So now we're gonna get to the part of the video where it's gonna be very much not scripted, but I will do my best to be as clear as I possibly can about my process. So, like I was saying a moment ago, when you're seeking out beta readers, you're basically creating a help wanted sign of sorts. So basically, just like write out what you need, like what's your name, who you're looking for, what story you need read, etc. But that's actually not all you need. You also need to let readers know what kind of genre it is so that you don't get readers who prefer one genre over others. Let people know what age category it is so that people who prefer certain categories or are just not ready to read specific categories will know who the book is actually meant for. You can also do warning contents to let readers know what will be in the story, whether it be physical abuse or abuse of other kind, death, anything about religion, if you're going to be a little preachy or scolding kind of way, just any sort of things that could possibly be traumatic and triggering for certain readers. After which, you go ahead and let readers know about the summary and that it is still in the early stages or you are in a specific round now, as much as you kind of need to let readers know what it is they'll be in for. Also letting readers know like how many chapters there will actually be or pages or word count could also help, so they can know like the scale of the book or the story that they're going to be reading. After which, you can also let readers know like what information you'll need from them, whether like their names, so you know who you're talking to, the age, mainly just to see how readers compare to each other about how they feel about the story. Same for gender, email for easy contact, social media for the same reason. And if you want, you can ask them why they want to be a beta reader and what their preferred genre is, if you're curious. Now, another thing you can do, and this was actually done by Kat Rector. I did not think about doing this because I'm a big old dum-dum, but she actually created a graphic that she could easily post wherever she needs, especially on Instagram. So like right here, she lets people know that she needs beta readers and that it is a Norse myth retelling focused on Sigyn, Loki's canon wife. The information about the story, like how much is the word count, how much she expects readers to read every week, what kind of genre and category it is. So it is a adult book in the fantasy genre. There are queer leads, so you know homophobes can probably stay away, and that it will include imperfect love story. But for more information, you can actually go straight to her about the story, and she will be happily obliged. She would happily oblige to tell you more. Yay, words. So these are just a few of the things you can do. I think the graphic part is very much a good idea, especially you can easily show off what you need and what you can tell beta readers without, you know, word dumping somewhere. Not to mention, this would also be perfect for Twitter because Twitter already has that limited word count when, you know, posting. So if you guys want, you could probably do something like this so you can get the basic information and then later on lead to creating a graphic with a little bit of info needed to let beta readers know what it is you need and what they can look for. Cool? Okay, moving on. Now that you have interested readers and chosen the amount you want to focus on in your first or however many rounds, now it's time to send them pieces of your manuscript, and this is what I mean. Alrighty, and we are back with a new topic, and that is broken up sections of your story. So remember when I said that I'm a big old dum-dum about, you know, not doing something? Well, I'm a big old dum-dum for definitely doing something this time, and that is I accidentally deleted the different sections of the Call for Phineas Pride, where the manuscript was broken up into small sections that contained specific amounts of chapters within them. Now, seeing as those are gone, I'm just going to have to use a different manuscript as an example, so I will be using Valhalla, the Call of Yggdrasil. And Valhalla, or VTCOY, is actually broken up into arcs that have their own amounts of chapters within them. So at this time, I do plan to ask for beta readers to look into the prologue in chapter 1, but once those are looked at, I plan to smush prologue in chapter 1 back into arc 1, where it belongs. So right now, I'm just gonna let you all know, when you are going to ask for beta readers, how many chapters you want to give them is completely up to you. For the Call for Phineas Pride, I decided to release, originally I actually released the chapters to the beta readers one chapter at a time, but when I did that, I realized that was actually kind of stupid, especially when most of the questions I asked them kind of felt like it was the same thing and there wasn't really enough time between chapters to have beta readers to change their minds about something or have a full-on opinion about something. So when it came to round 2, I decided to group certain chapters together that I thought actually fit together. So basically, like what it is for Valhalla, it's the same with the arcs. Each group of chapters actually belong together for specific reasons, and basically it's the story within each arc that connects the chapters, and that connects the whole manuscript as a whole. So as you see here, this chunk only contains the prologue in chapter 1, but that's because I want beta readers to focus on how the prologue compares to chapter 1 and vice versa, so that I can get an idea of, hey, is the prologue actually going in the right direction? Is it too much? Is it not enough? Etc. It also doesn't help that I still keep hearing about how people hate prologues or people skip prologues, and that's really stupid. So the prologue in my manuscript is not something you can just skip over, because there is information about characters and what has happened in the past. The prologue is actually something that's happening in the past. And once we jump to chapter 1, there is a huge time skip to the main character where she is now all grown up. So like she's 18 now by this point, whereas here in the prologue she was 5 years old. So once that's done, then I actually plan to put chapter 1 and the prologue into arc 1, which actually will contain the prologue all the way to chapter 9, and that will actually be the end of the arc. And once the beta readers have actually read all the chapter chunks, then that's when you can give them the questionnaire that focuses on each of the chapter chunks. Kat Rector, who gave me the graphic to show you guys a moment ago, she is also doing something similar. She actually is giving out her chapters in chunks, whether it be 2 chapters in one package, 3 chapters in one, 4 chapters in others, or 5 chapters in others. So it basically is just chunks of chapters that you feel actually fit together. If you feel like in one package only 2 chapters fit together, that's totally fine. In the Call for Phineas Pride, there are only 10 chapters in the novella. So the first chunk only had 3 chapters. The second chunk had 2 chapters. Then the next chunk again has, wait, I'm counting here, has 3 chapters, and then the final package had 2 chapters. So it's literally just this, trying to figure out how many chapters you want to give to beta readers. If you want to actually break it up into chunks. If you just want to give the chapters one by one, that's also fine. If you prefer to just give them the entire manuscript, that is also fine too. But remember, depending on what exactly you do have to give your beta readers enough time to read them. So like if you give them the entire manuscript, you may need to give them an entire month to read it. I'm not saying that your manuscript is going to take that long to read. I'm just saying it depends on reader speeds and readers' availability, etc. So you just gotta watch out for all that stuff. So think about how many chapters you want to give them. Think about if the chapters actually connect together so they can be easily understandable when you send them out, and then go from there. So far so good, right? Once pieces of your manuscript has been sent out, now it's time to check on or write your beta readers questionnaire for each piece sent to readers. Okay, and here is the last of my screen recordings, and this time it is the questionnaire process, which, remember, However, depending on what you do with how you send out your chapters to your beta readers, you will be creating each questionnaire based on what you did. So did you send the chapters one by one or by chunks, or did you send the manuscript as a whole? And like I said, depending on what you did, your questionnaire is going to go off of that. So as you see here, I did break up my novella into 4 different chunks. Part 1, which is chapter 1 to 3, part 2, chapter 4 through 5, part 3, which is chapter 6 through 8, and part 4, which is chapter 9 through 10. So like I said, not a big book, not a lot of chapters, just some stuff that was easily connectable in chunks. So right up here are the questions I pretty much asked the beta readers. The first question being like, what was their initial thoughts on part 1, and to also provide me their name, because all my beta readers were literally answering it. We're basically using the same, we're basically using the same questionnaire, but each of them can answer individually. So to make sure, I just asked them all to leave a name in the answer box so I can know whose answer was from who. Not everyone did it, but it helps. Then I asked them what their favorite scene was, if anything was confusing, what are their thoughts on each of the characters that was introduced in each chunk. That's what I mean by if you did it in chunks, it would be a lot easier to get people's opinions on a character, scene, setup, etc. And just making sure if everything was clear, even what they thought about the world building, the magic system, and on a scale, I prefer 1 to 5 of what they thought of the section, and if they had any predictions or theories going forward. Now, this is actually one question I did not realize I could also ask them, but Cat Rector, who I showed you the graphic for earlier, also asked readers if they are still willing to continue reading. That is a pretty nice question to ask them, because it lets you know if the reader is actually excited to read, or meant to read, or probably isn't really that into the story. These are questions that will provide honest opinions, and if you cannot handle that, you may either need a break from this, or you probably shouldn't be doing this in the first place. I am just saying. So now that these are more for like individual chunks, after which, when they are done with the story as a whole, you can ask them all a overall questionnaire of what they thought of the story as a whole. And this could also work if you decided to send them the manuscript as a whole. I am so sorry if you guys are hearing dogs in the background. There are people cutting the lawn. Yay! So, like with the individual parts, you'll pretty much be asking the same question in the overall section, which is, on a scale, what did they think of the story as a whole? If they had favorite scenes, if they had any scenes they disliked, any favorite characters, least favorite characters, thoughts of the world building, magic system, etc. Especially ask them if they thought the story was predictable, and how they felt about the ending. You can even ask them how they feel about the title, if you thought the title fit for not only the story but for the genre, and just so much. You can literally ask them so much, including asking them opinions about what they think the genre actually is, such as if you think the genre that you originally had still fits for the story, or if maybe they have an opinion on maybe it doesn't feel like this genre, maybe it feels like this other genre. Even ask them the age category if you think that the story still fits in the age category you had in mind, or if the reader would be like, actually it feels more like it belongs in this category. And these will also help you for when you are marketing your story. Is your story similar to other things that beta readers have experienced from books, movies, TV shows, video games, etc.? And also giving you an honest opinion on whether or not they think they can share your story to their friends, families, etc. Maybe even help you market your book later down the line. And this is also a thing you can add if you want for the overall questionnaire, and that is when you thank them for reading your manuscript, ask them if they want their name in your acknowledgments. A writer I beta read for, she actually asked if I wanted my name in the acknowledgments and how did I want the name written in the book. I am so sorry if you're going to be hearing a lot of screaming and noises in the background. I didn't realize this was going to happen. But anyway, you can ask them if they want their names in the acknowledgements and whether or not they want their full name or partial name or even a nickname in their acknowledgements. It's just something you can do. The questionnaires are pretty much your decision on what to ask them, but these are more like a basic questions to ask beta. Hopefully this all helped. Hopefully this video is clear, and I hope you actually understood everything I mentioned and suggested and etc. I am so sorry if this video is just all sorts of wonky, but you know, good luck, and I hope everything totally works out for you guys, for you and your manuscript, okay? Again, good luck all! And I think that's it. Once all betas are finished reading your story and all questions are answered, then you get to go through everything to see what it is that needs fixing, adjusting, all that awesome jazz. And then once everything has been fixed and adjusted, you get to go through the process again until your betas haven't found much else that needs fixing and adjusting. You pretty much keep seeking betas until they really can't find much wrong with your manuscript. So that's it. If you want to stay up to date on my endeavors and want to support me, then please follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. Links will be down below. Also, if you like me and my videos, then please click that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you can be notified every time I upload new videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing writing journey. Adios!